Okay, in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at React 18 and we're going to take a look at a component that I've used for training. And so it really is an Angular 15 course that I've set up here with a home page, a nav bar, and and a course component which can render a bunch of videos associated with a category of a course. And I could dynamically switch to each topic and use the same component to render the category of videos that I want to render. Okay, so first of all, I do want to say that right now I'm on the home page. I have this React app. I have a navigational bar, and and I've defaulted to route on this home page. And so let's take a look at what this really is all about. Okay, so I have here a title, Welcome to Angular 15 Complete Basic Course. Now, I have some links in the nav bar here, Introduction, Data Binding, Dependency Injection, Observables, Communication, Template-Driven Forms, React-Driven Forms. Not all the topics that I typically do in a large-scale course, but what I'm doing is I'm driving uh, this course with a React component which I built, which is what I'm going to talk about. So the paragraph on the home page basically says, this course is the full basic Angular 15 course provided from Angular Orange LLC. Okay, Angular Orange provides a complete set of Angular framework training and specializes in AWS serverless technologies and industry solutions. Although this site is driving a complete Angular 15 class, its purpose is to demonstrate the power of React 18 component and how it can drive videos for training using simple React functional components, hooks, and the AWS stack. Okay, so loosely speaking, the React component uses this layout effect hook to retrieve JSON from an S3 bucket, and the JSON data has a category of videos and titles and URLs, and 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 basically that JSON is used to drive the videos in the training component. Okay, we call the component a React course component because it's a React component which is driving the course. Okay, so the course components also uses properties during navigation to share active course category and dynamic retrieval of JSON or from AWS using an Axios client. Um, Once again, just giving you a basic example of a React component here, but it has a lot of functionality which is consistent. Okay, right now this component is presently being used to drive video content for our new Angular 15-16 training videos, which are going to be provided by Angular Orange LLC. So, it's just a component that's used to exhibit the behavior, and it's not meant to be a fully practice app. Um, However, it's presently being extended with white labeling and theming and other feature hooks used in practical applications like login, logout. It's going to be connected to AWS Cognito. And then I have this link here that says download the React course components from GitLab. So, first of all, there's a couple of things I want to point out. If I click on this and I open this link, of course, it takes you to Angular Orange, which is the official Angular Orange training site that we offer courses and testing and consulting services and stuff like that. Okay, uh, and that's where some of these new videos are heading. Uh, so let's take a look at the code, and I'll show you some interesting aspects of the code because this is a React 18 video. Okay, so first of all, I do notice I have some misspellings here and some camel case stuff I want to get rid of. Let me go and at least show you part of the application. Okay, so here's the application, and what I have is I have this app component, um, uh, and I have this nav bar. So let's take a look at the app component. So here's an app component I have. I use state. I use I create contacts. Some things I don't really need here. I will clean them out later. Um, and the bottom line is that the app has a nav bar with some router outlets, with a router outlet and some routes, and it has a header which says Route 15, and it has that logo and that header and this nav bar component. So let's take a look up here. I am importing the nav bar from this component, and I have routes and routers and stuff like that, and I have a home page and a course page, and I have this logo. So just to review, the logo's spinning, the title's over here, the nav bar's over here, and this is my home component that by default is going to that component that the router's routing that by default. So just to prove that, here is the nav bar, um, and here is the links. Um, and what I want to do really is quickly get one thing out of the way. Let's talk about the pages. So first, I have a home page. So this is my home page, and what I want to do is fix a couple of things. The thing I didn't like was this uppercase. I say this AWS, say serverless stack. And then there was something else down here I didn't really care for, which was um, this. I wanted to say practice. And so I just re-render that component. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, so that content should be changed here. Best practice. Okay, so anything else disturbing here, I could update, not that important. Okay, so then the way the application works is I have this nav bar up here, and the nav bar. Let's take a look at the nav bar. Um, the nav bar has these links, and I did this very quick and dirty. But I nav to the course, and the course is a function. It's a function with maybe some hooks, but here it's using some property state. So here, when I navigate to this link, um, data binding, the state, the category is set to data binding. Um, and so that property value comes in, that state comes in, and that course component says, hey, category is data binding. Hey, bring that to lowercase, put a hyphen in the middle of it, because I'm going to go get a JSON object from the cloud, from the S3 bucket on AWS, and the name of that file is going to be is a URL which has a data hyphen binding in it, and basically when I click on this link, um, basically the location of 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 this, the location where I'm navigating to, does have a state variable which has this category value. Okay, so that's one thing to point out, is that my navigational bar is using a single component and passing in different state. And when that different state's passed, a web service is called, the results are retrieved, and the JSON object in the result has the list of videos, the titles, the URLs, and everything. And the state of the component is set so that it renders that. So what does that mean? That means if I go to template-driven forms here, what happens is web service is made, the JSON object comes in. This stuff, the JSON is parsed, and basically it shows a list of videos with its corresponding URL. In this case, the default is forms, and it's showing the forms video. In this case here, it's a template demo, and I'm showing that video corresponding to that template. Now, um, so that's one thing to point out is that the nav bar is passing state, and I'm landing on the course component. So let's take a quick look at the course component because that's really what I was developing here. And so the course component uses this React use layout effect. And what use layout effect means, I want to make a web service call before you render that front end because I'm going to take the results and I'm gonna create the menu and I'm gonna set the video, the default video, and set the state uh, before you render that markup. So I use this layout, set use layout effect. Now, use effect didn't do the trick, right? Because use effect, the page was rendering before the use effect got called. So I did implement initially, set initial state of video and URL, uh, but I changed it to use layout effect because that's the thing to do. Now notice I have paper and menu list and stack and using from this material UI core. Happy to see that some of those components are easy. Unhappy to see that when I try to refine them, using flex layout and other stuff, it was a little bit more difficult for me than Angular. But 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 the fact is, the component did give me the fast functionality I needed, and the other less important things were can trickle on afterwards. So anyway, I do include Axios to make a web service call. I use this location, the React router DOM package provides this use location. So basically, what happens is when I click on a nav link, I could go get the use location. So the use location in the course component is this location. When I get the URL of my JSON category, I say, what's the location state? That's what my category is. And based on that, I might replace a space with a hyphen, and then my URL is defined to go get my JSON data using the web service. So the URL is my S3 bucket, JSON AO hyphen course, category lowercase dot JSON, but my lowercase did replace a space with a hyphen. Now, why did I do that? You could see that what I have on the S3 bucket is these JSON data, this JSON data here, and in the case of my template-driven forms, let's say, yeah, my category is template-driven forms, and I have my titles and my videos. So I needed a file to reference, and that file did not have, this file name does not have spaces. It's hyphens, it's all in lowercase. So notice my category is in uppercase, camel case, whatever you want to call it, and my file name is in lowercase with spaces. So um, that's why I do this lowercase and I put a hyphen and I get the file name. My standard of how I approach this problem was just doing that. And like I said, it's been changing every day. So it's like I said, it's not best practice. It's just something that works. Okay, so now what I do is after I get the location, I get the URL. I have this use layout effect where I actually make a web service to go get that data, and I initially have the courses set to this empty JSON. I have the videos set to this empty array. But I do have the set courses function, the set video function, and every time I go get um, um, a particular, every time I set the courses, like let's say in this case, a particular category, uh, every time I go get the JSON object and I want to setting it, then the courses does have a category and it has a setup length. Notice this particular template-driven forms has a duration, and it does have a category, template-driven forms. So when I clicked on this link, that's the web service called this JSON data and got these values from that JSON object, like I was showing you here. Um, I've got the category template-driven forms, and I also have the length of time, which was the duration I was using. And everything else is used in a menu item to show the title and the video URL, etc. So so that's the other important thing I want to show you. But the initial state that gets set when this happens is basically this use layout effect says, oh, when you change the URL, then go get this web service result, and when you get the web service result, the result, let's put the course data in the courses uh, object, and let's get the videos and set the videos to set that videos array, and then what I do is I initially set some state. I initially set video data, and the video data is here. And this was a little bit of a caveat with this. And like I said, it's not perfect, but I think I got it working, but definitely needs to look at more seriously. But the truth of the matter is the initial video and the URL and the title shows up on the page when it renders. So I needed a way to set that by default. And use layout effect in setting that does that trick. So this doesn't really need to be defined. I could probably empty this out because this is getting called before the markup renders. And so I am setting this video data um, using this set video call when I get the JSON data, um, etc. And then I put the location here because these are two dependencies. When this changes or this changes, I have to make the web service call. But I need to look at that because I should only have to do this once anyway. Okay, so what values do I return? I do return this div video category, video title. Um, okay, that's video category, video title. That's default. That's the default. That's what's showing initially on the screen. Let's see if I could go back to the beginning. I go to template-driven forums. So this is the first video. It's called forms, and this is the category. And I clicked here. And everything else on this page is driven from the JSON data. So let's take a look at that real quick, and it isn't, to my surprise, it's relatively simple. What I did was I used material design, material UI core, this paper menu list, some stack. I looked at the documentation and basically says, you know what, you could just put these two things in a direction row, um, and use flex and and define how you want this stack to be. But the stack really is the paper on the left and the video on the right. And so it's on the left, I have this. On the right, I have this. This is the row, which is flex. I'm trying to flex lay out this thing. And be quite honest with you, like I said, it's not perfect, but I want to move on from this because I have to go back to my original application, which has this with theming and white labeling and other stuff. But I thought it was good to show the most basic form of this application. And of course, I want this to look good and style better when I click on models. I want this to stay highlighted, but instead I'm just changing this to models. There's a lot of things that you could do to improve this application. Uh, but notice with the paper, I use this menu list, and for each video, after I make the web service call, there's this videos array that's defined. It defines all the URLs and titles, etc. And so I iterate through the video map, the videos map, and I create all these menu items. And the menu item has a title, a view, and there's this on-click function where I set the video. Well, what does set video do? When I click on that, it basically sets that video data here. And why do I need to set that? Well, the video data um, defines the video URL on the screen. Of course, it's also setting the video title, and so um, notice I have video data, video title here, and so yes, it's true. The use layout effect hook allowed me to make a web service call and set state so the component renders appropriately with the proper video, the proper video title, proper category with the proper duration in the view. So that's basically what's happening here. Uh, uh, good stuff. Anything else I need to show? Um, so so the bottom line is I export this course and anything else of value. My goal here is to minimize code and minimize as much code and basically maximize my functionality and my look and feel, of course. Now, I didn't really use material design that well. I didn't style this that well. I didn't do a lot of things. I just focused on what I was trying to focus on. Functional components in React, a hook, web service call, setting state in the proper time frame, and reusing my course component. I mean, it's doing the same thing over and over and over again as you change categories. Now keep in mind, uh, uh, like I said, the other thing I was trying to exhibit is state. What kind of state did I need? Well, I needed to pass. I needed to re. I needed to navigate to a particular component and set the state so it has a different state of a different category of videos and URLs and titles and menu bar. So that was accomplished. The other thing I was trying to accomplish, and I stripped all this stuff out. Log in, log out, theming, switching theme. Okay, that's coming in my full-blown React app, but 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 the but the important things were what I'm trying to establish. Now, anything else, anything else was based on this course component, and of course, like I said, I use state, I use the layout effect, and I use location. I didn't tap into multiple levels of routes, which, like I said, I backed off of that because I want to make sure this is as simple as possible. Okay, so the other thing, just so you know, is the source code is here. GitLab, I stored the code here. This is the present state of the code. And you could basically take this code, enhance it, and make any training component that you want to by just pointing to the videos and stuff. Okay, and that's really all I want to say for this video. I just want to stop right there. As a follow-up, I just want to tell you that yes, I will be updating the Angular Orange site with its courses and free training, and basically uh, updating all the videos. This is Angular 12. I've ported it to Angular 15. It looks like I got to go in and port it to 16 now. And I'm going to be extending the AWS and adding some React stuff in here. Um, but um, but keep in mind that this is our official site, and we do offer consulting services. We offer courses, and we have testing capabilities. And here's our number. You can call us if you need consulting services or any questions about training. And okay, back to React 18. Hope you enjoyed this. Thanks.